When I was a kid, I remember watching the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And in that movie, they kill off Marvin Acme, the owner of Toontown. And then someone says, hey, maybe we should go downtown and check the probate. I never knew what that meant when I was a kid. And to be honest, I still really don't know what that means. Thankfully, we have someone on the line who can explain it to us. This is Roy Fine with Murphy Desmond. Hey, Roy, it's good to see you.
Thanks, Justin. Thanks for having me. Good to see you too.
Absolutely. So we hear this word probate used quite a bit, but what exactly is it?
Well, probate is the court process. It's a court procedure. It's a filing fees and paperwork. And in Roger Rabbit, it's also where the will goes. After somebody dies, the will is filed. People look at the will and figure out what is supposed to happen with the assets of the estate. Probate involves a box load of paperwork. It usually applies to estates having over $50,000, but it is a court procedure to distribute a deceased person's assets.
So obviously a really good reason to have a will, and we can kind of get into that, but what exactly is the process of probate? How does that work?
Well, probate starts when a person applies to the court to be appointed as the personal representative of the estate. Some states call it the executor, but in Wisconsin, it's a personal representative. And when the person is appointed as the personal representative by the court, he or she has the authority then to look into the assets, to find them, to gather them together, and then report to the court about what they are by filing what's called an inventory. And then the person liquidates those assets, sells them, consolidates into usually an estate bank account, and then reports to the court about what went on, what bills were paid, and all of those sorts of things, and gets approval to distribute the assets the way the will says, or according to statutes, if there's no will.
So did I hear you say that this is a court-appointed person who's in charge?
Yes, it takes the court appointment and an order to give the personal representative authority to deal with the assets.
So I imagine if that court-appointed person is somebody outside the family, things can be a little bit messy. What are some of the issues or problems that can occur during the probate process?
Well, it can be messy whether it's a family member or not a family member, because sometimes there are will contests where people dispute the validity of the will, or they dispute what they're getting under the will. Sometimes there are issues locating heirs, because you have to identify not only the beneficiaries in the will, but the deceased person's heirs as well. They have to be notified and given an opportunity to approve or not approve the whole process. It can also be a challenge sometimes in probate to locate the assets. Sometimes we don't have a very good roadmap about what the person had, and it can complicate matters. And they may also have had debts, and paying those debts with limited assets can be a problem. And just the expense of having a probate, the attorney's fees involved, can eat into the value of the estate and the amount the beneficiaries receive.
Yeah, it sounds like it's really a process to be avoided if at all possible. Is there anything that individuals or couples can do to avoid the probate process?
Actually, many things, principal among which are trusts. The use of trusts are a very handy way. Once assets are owned by trust, they don't have to be administered through a probate proceeding. People can also hold property in joint tenancy with others, and then the joint tenancy is simply terminated when one person dies and the other becomes the successor owner. In the same vein, accounts can be labeled TOD or POD accounts, where a beneficiary is designated to receive the assets. Those accounts don't have to go through probate. Sometimes married couples use a marital property agreement with a provision in it that allows transfer of assets without probate. And sometimes people simply gift the assets before they die, and then there's nothing to probate either.
We got about 45 seconds left here, Roy, but what can you give us briefly an explanation of what a lawyer can do, how they can help prevent individuals having to go through probate, or at the very least assist in the probate process?
Well, certainly drafting the documents to avoid probate, such as trusts, not wills, because wills are, in Roger Rabbit's case, that's how you get to probate. So trusts to avoid probate, joint tenancies, POD, TOD accounts, helping people set those up. And then if there is a probate, we're very adept at managing all of that paperwork and helping people through the process. I am happy to help. Anybody has any further questions or wants assistance with probate, they can feel free to give me a call.
That's good news for a lot of folks who I'm sure are listening right now. Well, Roy, we really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for enlightening us, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks again. Take care, Justin.
Don't go away. There's more after the break. Stick around.